Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to talk about a favourite song of mine called Song for Guy from Elton John. So when I was just starting to learn the piano, I was always on the lookout for songs in the key of C because they're the easiest to play. For those of you who play the piano will know that key of C has the least amount of black notes, so it's easier to play something in C than it is to play something in the key of F sharp major or something with all those sharps. So I quickly learnt Song for Guy, and I was initially playing a kind of simplified version. Same with Imagine, playing a simplified version before I knew the proper chords. And Scott Joplin, The Entertainer, was also in the key of C, so that was an early one for me as well. Although, again, I was guilty of playing a stripped-down version, should we say, without the fiddly bits. So I'll just show you my two copies of Single Man. This is my original one from 1978. First Elton album I got, and it still has a strong place in my heart because of that. This is the gatefold with the car, and it comes with the lyrics. And this was the first album he'd made without Bernie Taupin, and he collaborated with Gary Osborne, who wrote most of the lyrics for this album. Although Song for Guy, we're going to talk about, is an instrumental song. So this is my picture disc of Single Man, which is very nice to have. Both sides, front cover, back cover. And I forget which palace that is in the background he's walking away from. I think it might be Windsor or Blenheim. So just what else can we say about this song? It was released as a single in the UK. It was a huge hit. Well, not huge, but number 4, pretty decent. For some reason, the US record company didn't want it released as a single, much to Elton's annoyance, so it didn't actually see the light of day over there. Big hit elsewhere in Europe. And the story behind this song is a sad one. Elton was sort of writing a song about an out-of-body near-death experience, and then the next day he'd heard that a guy called Guy Birchett, who's a 17-year-old guy who worked for Rocket Records, his record company, had died. He was a messenger boy, and he died in a motorbike accident. So Elton quickly named the song that he'd written on the day that Guy died, Song for Guy. And for many years, people didn't know what that meant, whether it was song for a guy or song for this guy, Guy Birchett. And I think that the story came out at the time, I think, that this was a tribute to him. So very sparse instrumentation. It's not a full band. So Steve Holley, who later joined Wings, is playing drums on this album, but he's not featured on this track. You've got Elton playing most of the instruments, piano, moog, synthesizer. You've got Clive Franks on bass, although you can't really hear him. By the way, that so-called string arrangement is Elton playing on the synthesizer mostly, I think. And then Ray Cooper's playing some kind of rhythm box. So I picked up the sheet music for A Single Man, and I polished off Song for Guy, using the proper chords as opposed to the simplified Heaton version. So I can even play the middle 8-bit, which I always thought was a bridge too far early on. So that sheet music is given me hours of pleasure, actually. I'm not sure if it's still in print, or maybe if you want to try and learn it, if you want to try and learn some of these songs, it is a good one to get hold of, and maybe you can get it secondhand. There's a lot of good piano songs on this album: Shine On Through, Georgia, Part-Time Love, and this one, of course. So apparently this song took several takes to get right. Elton kept on screwing up halfway through, much to his annoyance, and then the engineers were realised that in what turned out to be the final take, where Elton had got 4 minutes in without making a mistake, the song ran to a length of 6.5 minutes, by the way. They realised the tape was running out, and they got really nervous, and literally just as Elton had finished the closing chord, the tape ran out, so they had a bit of luck there. So I'm just going to play you a very shortened version of it. I mean, it's basically, the song is based, the first bit is based around 4 chords: C, G with a B bass, B flat, and then F. And then the middle bit, C, D minor with a C bass, C, and then F, G with an F bass, F, back to C, and then the middle 8 is basically B flat 6th with a G on the top, turns into D minor, A7, back to D minor, B flat 6th again, D minor, G7 with a B bass, E7, F6, and then a flourish to end with E flat, G7 with a D bass, ending on the root chord of C. So I'll just play you a shortened version of the thing. I think it's a really lovely song and a really lovely tribute to Guy Birchett. So thanks for watching. See you next time.